I was supposed to be executed 2 days ago.
And I was in combat. So was I.
Black Ops. Who would do this to us?
Man, y'all ever get the feeling that the predators that we see are just like the assholes of their planet?
Oh, you like in actual predator society, they walk around with capes and robes and drink tea.
No, I'm talking, just
These
the
are
opposite.
these are the dumb
assholes are you
jocks.
talking about?
No.
Oh, these are the jocks.
No,
Yeah.
these are like the redneck NRA people of their planet. Like
Yes.
they love guns and shooting people.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a
they're
whole
definitely
bunch
the
of,
NRA.
There's predators with desk jobs. Like, have you seen my stapler? There's predators at the Walmart.
Yeah.
Hey,
like,
look, if fucking predators had that, if rednecks had that kind of weaponry that the predators had, I'd be a fucking redneck right now.
Yeah.
All right? I'm
I
sorry,
guess-
that shit is badass.
I guess that would be cool, but I'm just thinking
Yeah.
like they are the deliverance of their planet, like the deliverance rednecks. Like there's a scene missing where they were raping Adrian Brody and
I was
making him
about to
squeal.
say, I don't know where you got that from, but yeah, I didn't see that scene, thank God.
what you're saying, this is the West Virginia planet then.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, there's probably a nice part of like a suburb of that planet we didn't see. you
And
know?
no, Leon, I am not from there.
I ain't say nothing.
I'm from the Virginia planet. Totally different planet.
It's just on the other side of the same revolving.
I don't know,
rock.
Cyrus. Every time I see you look at a plate of barbecue, I always hear you go, wee.
The autonomic reaction. I
Yeah, I
can't
see
help
you on
it.
some fried chicken. You look just like one of those predators.
My people are used to hunting and killing our own meat.
Oh yeah, you put some chicken in front of Cyrus, his mouth opens like that predator.
Start hearing that little clicking sound.
But you know what, man? I really did enjoy this movie. I didn't love it because
Now, I'm curious as to what stopped you from loving it, because I felt like I kind of did.
you did love it.
Yeah.
I tell you, well, first of all, I say this like with all my heart. Fuck all these other sequels that came out after Predator, like especially that last Alien versus Predator sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, how about all of them?
Yo, I'm saying
Hey,
all of them.
what about
Hey,
Predator 2?
I like
Okay, I like
Predator
Predator
2.
I like Predator 2, all right?
No,
I'll go so far as say I like Predator 2 better than Predator 1, but I know I'm in the minority there.
I'll be right there with you.
No, I know
Okay,
you
now
are.
that's
No,
crazy.
you're not a minority. There's two of you, right? All right here. But no,
We demand equal rights.
Power block.
King Willie made
Stop
that movie.
oppressing us.
I mean, it was kind of progressive. They made Danny Glover the hero and everything. You know?
Sure.
But I think he was like the second guy to actually kick a Predator's ass. Danny Glover, old
Yeah.
black ass.
Yeah.
But-
Still too
In the
old to do
entire
that
world, He
shit.
almost died. He kicks a predator's ass, and for his troubles, he received an old ass musket.
And I bet that was some
What am I
old.
supposed to do with this?
And you know what? Those aliens, they picked that shit up at some like convenience store on their way in. That shit was all plastic.
I know.
It was
Found
at
it
the
a pawn
airport.
shop.
Yeah, he was at the airport on their way in.
He goes home polishing it, ready to put it on his mantelpiece, and notices the "Made in China."
Like y'all from another planet. Y'all couldn't give me something at least from like Jupiter or something.
Yeah. Can I get one of those shoulder cannons?
Yeah, and a plastic ass gun. But no, this one, I guess what I'm saying here, regardless of what anybody feels about any of the sequels, this actually feels like the true sequel to Predator.
Well, they're tying this so directly into the first one where they are definitely disavowing. I mean, not that there's much plot to disavow from the second one and the two Aliens versus Predators films,
Sure.
but they're not acknowledged. And this is certainly, I mean, there's no question that they're like, ooh, this should be the Aliens to Alien.
Yeah, they even go-
Predators to Predator, and they're just not subtle about
Which
that.
they,
at all.
they really crowbar that in. But the thing is, this feels like a natural progression from the
It
first
does.
Predator
It does,
movie.
yeah.
And shockingly, they managed to make it work, especially with following that template, which they do in this movie. They don't really try to stray away from that at all. There's plenty of scenes in here that are referencing the first movie, but they still managed to make it work just with this cast of characters that are somewhat kind of interesting.
Well, you know what? With the first Predator movie, probably one of the reasons I don't love it is you start out with a group of guys, a bunch of mercenaries, who are actually just a big pack of assholes. So as they got bumped off, I didn't really care.
Well, what were you expecting out of mercenaries, though? A bunch of nice guys who talk comic books?
Hey, man,
but-
they get a bad rap. They're a bunch of cuddly guys.
But with this
Come on.
movie, you have like actual, like not just mercenaries, but murderers, and yet they give them so much character that I was rooting for every one of
Yeah,
them.
well, it's
like when they died, I kind of like felt like, oh damn.
serial
see, and that's-
killers and all sorts of scum people. But you know what? It's weird because I felt like they almost gave them enough character, and then the movie let me down there. I was like, wow, you've got a really interesting bunch of people. Your initial premise with each of them is like, wow, I want to see more of these people interacting. And then I don't feel like they ever really did. I was
See,
like, this totally let me down.
I thought
on
maybe
that
they
level.
might have spent too much time. I mean, for me, I like the interaction. I always like that better than the actual action stuff. But I know for a lot of people, they're like, hey, I came here to see some Predators. Where are they?
Well, you
Right.
know what? I agree with you on that point, Cyrus, what you say, like they almost developed them and then they just stopped because the movie opens up with Adrian Brody just falling from the sky, and right before he's
Hell of an opening.
I know,
by the way.
it is cool. It's right before he's supposed to go splat. A parachute opens up and it says Predators. You know, the title screen comes up, and then he learns
Which he had
that-
in the pack.
Yeah, the title came out. Hey, what are these words coming out? But no, so when he lands, you see other people landing. And they all begin to get that backstory, and none of them seem like they're actually merciful people, like nice people.
They're not.
No, they're not. They're either very strong, hard-nosed soldiers, or they're murderers.
They're just brutal killers.
Yeah.
African
Cr-
death squads,
criminals.
Yakuza, mercenaries, Mexican drug cartel.
Or detectives, like Adrian Brody is, because he starts to like immediately, like within 5 minutes, like he starts to like, this looks like Earth, smells like Earth, tastes like Earth, but it ain't Earth. It's like we are on another planet that is a game preserve, and we are being hunted by someone. Of course, we know that it's the Predators from the previous movies that are hunting them.
What, a gay preserve?
Okay.
Liberace's running into? Hello!
Come on, those Predators are very fit. It's like,
You work out that much, you got to be gay.
Let's get to the chopper together.
You know what? Not only are they fit, but they're shirtless, or except for they all wearing like those mesh shirts.
Let when the Predators try to hunt somebody in Chelsea, New York, they be chased down so quick, that alien be trying to get back to his ship. Where you going, girl? Come here. Shit, start this motherfucker. Get out of here. But no, what I think, back to what you said, they start giving their background. And you get just enough to know, like, okay, these people have probably done something bad in their life, at least once. And after that, they just become the game for the Predators. They really just are there to like either get knocked off or run.
Well, the Predators aren't pussies, right? They don't want to get just like screaming teenagers at the camp. They're not like Jason, a big douchebag who just hunts people who can't defend themselves. What a fag. Sorry to use that word, but Jason, you suck.
And his mask is nowhere near as cool as Predators.
These Predators are like, we want the toughest, meanest, nastiest sons of bitches we can find. The guys who actually have a chance of killing us, because otherwise it's not fun.
Okay.
And I respect that.
You know what? I respect that too, but as I was watching the movie, I started to wonder. It's like, wait, they're getting the hardest guys, who are in the army, and they all drop them there, who have... I'm thinking, like, maybe it's not because of that. Maybe it's because these people have their own weapons. Like, this Predator program is probably pretty expensive. I mean, the equipment is breaking down, the parachutes aren't opening. They can't always, like, buy all the weapons and supply them with the weapons. They're like, hey, this guy's packing. Let's get him.
That's a good point. Yeah, that could be it too. Nice,
Yeah.
let's conjecture about that for a while. How do they get their budget? Well, clearly it's the Predator Walmart, and the guy who can't find a stapler, they pay for that back on the plant.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what that waiting time is for like to get a weapon. It's like going through a drive-through. You just get it right there. I'll have two guns. But yeah, the reason why I think that this works better than any other sequel to Predator is because, well, with the second Predator movie, Predator 2, you kind of want to learn more about the Predator, but you really didn't. Except maybe near the end, like, hey, you kick at Predator's ass and they come and give you some cheap weapon or something.
I mean, I give it credit that it tried to do something really different with it, like the story-based structure itself. But yeah, you were left at the end going, wow, okay, so we know that they've hunted an alien at one point from that other series.
That's it.
But that's about it.
But with this one though, they actually take you to the Predator planet, and they was and I have to say, I think that
a Predator.
Well, it's a game preserve. It's not the actual Predator planet.
we don't know if it's
Yeah.
theirs or not. We just know that they're on another planet. We actually learn more about the Predator's habits. We even learn like, Predators really are a bunch of assholes, man. Like they hunt each other. Like,
Yeah. Well, there are two different races clearly
Yeah.
there of Predators. I mean, we see for the first time the new action figure that I'm sure will be on sale everywhere, the bigger, uglier Predator, and we see they have cute little Predator dogs that are horny all the time.
Yeah, they're domesticated. Predators aren't so bad. They keep pets.
Oh yeah, no, you have like the Predators that we have probably seen, and you got like the big racist Predator who's around there hunting the other Predators.
I was wondering, is this like the black and white thing going on with this film, and are they really trying to put the crowbar that in here as well? But
Didn't it kind of feel like an afterthought though? Like,
No, it was. It really was.
We got to do this because
Yeah.
otherwise we can't figure out how to end it.
It really was, and I'm glad. Like, there's a moment where there's a character telling you exactly everything you need to know about these Predators, but it's like, okay, you want to calm down because you're giving me so much exposition. I'm expecting this movie to be like 3 hours now, and it's at that point when you're hearing all that where you're like, okay, for some reason I feel like the movie's starting to slow down.
Yeah.
So as soon as it hits that point, thank God it starts to pick up.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's important to have that rest.
You know why that didn't work for me? remember Tim Robbins in War of the Worlds?
Yes.
That's exactly what this
Yeah.
felt
You know
like,
what?
was Tim Robbins in War of the Worlds.
And that's exactly what I thought of when they introduced the Lawrence Fishburne character. Because that's what I had a problem with. I was like, there are some characters that they introduce and then they don't do anything with. Lawrence Fishburne comes in as one of the survivors.
Captain Exposition.
Yeah, exactly. He comes in and starts talking crazy, and even though he is there for nothing but exposition, because you don't see him for very long in the movie. He comes in, acts crazy, which I thought he did very well.
Sure.
Just like
he's
Tim
Lawrence
Robbins.
Fishburne.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
come on.
he is crazy. He was Cowboy Curtis.
He took the wrong color pill.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, but
I always wondered what happened to Cowboy Curtis. I guess the Predators kidnapped him. And
They
put him
kidnapped
on a
him.
planet.
A cowboy.
Yeah,
He should
and with
be
his
great to hunt.
awesome cowboy skills, he managed to survive.
yeah, but they use him to very little effect. I mean, he makes a strong intro. He's like, "I'm the one that survived. I'm the one you don't fuck with," and like, well, you ain't doing nothing but talking, man.
How'd you get so fat?
Yeah. What were you eating there?
He was eating predators.
I guess.
Yeah, he's up there talking to his imaginary friend and everything.
Are you?
If I can hear you, they can too. Storm coming soon. This way.
Wait. Who are you?
I'm the one that got away.
I really thought they could have done a lot more with that character, and they didn't. For all the bravado that he came on with, the bravado he came on with, they do nothing with him. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of characters. Each one of these characters kind of gets their time to shine.
Yeah.
But it's very quick, and at that point, you don't know anything about them except like, oh, I can do this one badass thing.
Well, also, even though, as much as I enjoyed this film, I have to admit that, trying to live up to the first Predator is hard because, number one, every line in that goddamn movie is incredibly quotable. And number two is that the action
Here we
scenes,
go.
the action scenes are fucking just badass. I mean, for lack of a better word, they're just amazing. Even in the first movie where they're tearing down the forest, just shooting at nothing, that's like a great fucking scene. That is like an epic scene. And the only problem that I had with this film is that there were no real scenes that really like just really sucked me in.
This movie kind of suffered from what a lot of movies do, and they respect the movie that they're having a sequel to that they really love, which is that they harken back too much to that original. I mean, there are things in here that are taken right out of the first Predator.
Oh, yeah.
The Gatling gun. We still have the jungle that kind of looks the same. And
The scene at the end with the Yakuzan, the character who pulls out his sword, it reminded me of a scene with the Billy character.
It's very referential to that.
oh yeah, there's so many things that they don't exactly mimic, but they try to make their own version of, but it's still recognizable from the first. And I
That
think,
didn't bug me. What bugged me was that they kept having references to films that you were like, why is this even in here?
Like they reference Aliens.
And they referenced fucking Scarface. I was like, why are you referencing Scarface?
Wait, what was the Scarface?
When he says, say goodbye to my little friend.
Say
and I
goodbye
was
to your
like,
little friend.
I was like, wait,
I didn't even
what?
It's like,
why was that there?
But that didn't bother me. It didn't make me go.
No, but it took me out of it. I was like,
Yeah.
I really was expecting at some point, because it just felt like the right thing to do in this movie for someone to say, come with me if you want to live at some point. Because they were so grabbing at anything from that era of like famous action movie lines. It was a little like, is this the MTV Movie Awards parody of Predator, or is this the actual movie?
Yeah, nobody should ever use that line, say hello to my little friend,
No.
ever again.
In any sort of good changed version or anything.
If you use that line, then somebody dressed like Scarface should come in and shoot you with a rocket launcher.
Well,
I
that-
agree.
yeah,
Even as a joke.
Or that's until they, kidnap Tony Montana and fucking put him on that planet. That'd be badass. I would watch that movie, Scarface versus Predator.
And then that's the only time you can use that line is they put Tony Montana on the Predator. Say hello to my little friend. And even before he finished that line, blow his ass up.
You know what?
Pelican, fly.
That title, Scarface versus Predator, sounds like either a real action movie or a rap battle.
It's gonna be a real movie. I'm gonna direct it. All right.
It's the Marvel versus Capcom video game. People will do that. I wouldn't mind that scene if it switched to the Predator and his view and the little translator thing, and he just goes hello and then blows him up.
But man,
The last thing I want to hear is Predator mimicking fucking Scarface. Say
hello to my little friend.
I don't want to hear that.
yeah, I'd rather him say some shit from Fat Albert or something.
Which, speaking of that, I'll say one of the creepiest points in this movie was a part where they really used that whole voice modulation, the voice copying thing to great effect.
Yeah, that
The
was a
only
cool
bad
scene.
part is Man, can we see Danny Trejo in a film for more than 15 minutes before you get rid of him? I love that guy.
Wait till
Wait till
Machete comes out in another 5 years.
Machete will be his big comeback.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought
He's
him-
almost 60, for God's sakes. He doesn't have much time.
Hey man, that guy's role in life is to die on film.
Yeah.
Why do you want to take that away from him?
I
That's
mean,
his legacy.
Well, I just thought that him and Robert Rodriguez were tight. You know, Robert Rodriguez got his name all over this movie, and I guess maybe Danny Trejo just like, look, man, I got about 5 minutes. You got to kill me.
Hey, maybe with the divorce with his wife, he chose the wife.
But you know, another thing that goes back to the first movie, I think this movie tried to have too hard of a tie-in with the first film. That what's this chick's name in this movie? Alice Braga, who plays Isabel in the film.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only chick in the film, by the way, unless one of those Predators are a chick. You can't really tell. But
Yeah.
she gives this whole backstory of how she recognizes the Predators, and it goes back to the first film. Like, man, that's a little bit of a stretch.
See, really?
Really? That was a
Honestly,
stretch.
I actually liked that. I actually thought that made a lot of sense, only because, like, in part 2, there's no reference to these aliens or to the Predator at all, to where this one, it made sense, because it's like, yeah, at the end of Predator, you know, you see Schwarzenegger survive, and I'm like, well, it would have been interesting to hear somewhat of what happened, or maybe the government at least knows about these
Yeah, he's a
things at some
military
point.
guy. It
Yeah.
would have stayed in the reports. It would
Yeah.
be
I mean-
well known by a certain circle of people in the military.
It can't win with you. It's like if they hadn't brought it up, you'd have been like, oh yeah, they had predators on Earth, but somehow nobody knows about it.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have been like, you know, they're stealthy enough to not let anybody know who they are, which is why they keep coming back and
Well,
kidnapping
there were at
people.
least 2 encounters that we're willing to acknowledge. It's fine if somebody says like, yes, we do know about
Oh
these
no,
things.
because I'm convinced at the end of Predator they locked Schwarzenegger up and injected his ass with some silly serum. He's crazy in a nut house somewhere.
Well, no, you have to also think, too, there were 2 survivors at the end of Predator. It was Schwarzenegger and that chick.
They killed her. But you know Schwarzenegger's in a Benson where
Yeah.
it has a mouth like a spider and it has dreadlocks. You know, he's crazy.
He was only leading into doing a Schwarzenegger impression.
I was on a big
Come on, you
roller
guys.
coaster ride with this Predator. That's the name. I trademarked that, Predator.
But no, don't get me wrong, man. I really enjoyed this film. I mean, like I said, to me, it is the natural sequel. I don't even that all of the others. I say forget about it. This is the true sequel to that. Nimrod Atal. I think Robert Rodriguez was very smart in getting somebody else to direct this. Not that I think he's like that bad of a director, but the way he directs, man, he's so. I know he's just so crazy with his editing and
It
directing.
could have been over the top.
It could have
really
been. It could have been a little
yeah.
over the top. I think he probably knew like this story deserves a little, because I will tell you this much: I don't think that these characters had the best lines. I think some of them were funny, some of them were really bad though. Yeah. But I think Nimrod Atal. Why the fuck is his name Nimrod? I know we keep saying that.
You
You know,
feel
is he
like
Israeli?
You feel like you're saying it wrong.
You're in Hollywood now. Everyone changes their names. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
what was he like? Some god kid or something? Call me Nimrod.
I want to know more about his past in the Predators.
Yeah, exactly. Where'd you get that name from? Fuck these predators.
Yeah, you see him and he is a predator.
Well, I got it because but no, he knows how to direct actors, I think, and I think a lot of the performances in here, you know, to like be able to say these lines seriously and say them somewhat convincing was pretty cool.
And that's the thing. A lot of lines where I figured it would get too corny, he actually managed to, you know, get a decent performance out of these actors by them saying these lines. Because, you know, you think back, if you were to read the script to yourself, you'd be like, okay, this is ridiculous. But even when Lawrence Fishburne pops up, I was just like, oh, please, man, I hope they don't let this guy just go fucking apeshit nuts with his character, because I'm waiting for it to get so corny that the audience starts laughing and it pulls them immediately out of the movie. But thank God they know how to just tone it down enough to where it doesn't get to that ridiculous level. And the other thing is that I thought he really did, as far as trying to do a Predator film, I like the director didn't go over the top with it. He didn't make the weapons like a whole nother star, which part 2 did, where the weapons are more interesting than the Predator himself. And I liked how that he actually got the feel of being trapped in a jungle with something hunting you. I thought there was a lot of scenes that worked that he did with this.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fun film.
It is.
Go ahead and get my rating. I mean, really, it is a B movie. You know, but it's one of those professionally directed, very, very well acted. I mean, well, I won't say very, very well acted, but you know, people at least they take it seriously enough to not let it come across as a cartoonish B movie. And I give it a very strong matinee.
Well, for me, I mean, you know, despite everything y'all have been saying negative about it, it's like none of that stuff really bothered me that much. And a lot of it I didn't even notice, which I give credit to the film. Good actors that pulled off, you know, lines that, yeah, in the hands of lesser actors would have been terrible. Like, I even preferred it to the first Predators because the actors in it weren't as strong. So those lines in the first Predator stuck out to me as clunky. Here they worked. They had a lot of tension. Adrian Brody's great.
Yeah.
in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really invested in the movie and what happened to these guys all the way from the beginning to the end. And the action scenes maybe could have been better, but for me, it's a low full price.
Weren't you the guy who liked the new Terminator film this much too? Just sorry, I had to do that.
Oh, Carlisle's back?
I know, you're right. I was totally a Carlisle move. I apologize. Where is he? I can make fun of Armageddon.
Fuck you, asshole.
No, you know what? I think this movie works best when it's at its most primal. I think when it tries to stretch too much past that, it just gets kind of trite and plain silly. Some of the dialogue was awful. It was like groanably bad, like cliched as, I mean, even in 1987, they would have gone, seriously, dude? Mm-hmm. No one says that anymore. I don't. Actually, I really think it was on that level bad at points. The performances were fine, and there was some good chemistry. I mean, hell, you had Walton Goggins in here, who I totally love. I thought Adrian Brody just nailed his lead role in here. Absolutely. But once again, there was always something that would take me out, whether it was a Lawrence Fishburne scene or it was the mediocre special effects. You know, I can give this a matinee is what I'm going to give, because it was fun, but it was pretty heavily flawed.
I'm sure, like, I'll probably look back at this review and I'll after seeing it a second time, because I do plan on seeing it a second time, I'll probably like it a little bit more, only because I know the progression of it. But yeah, watching this film, I was really scared. I was like hoping that it wouldn't go into the Aliens territory of just bad sequels where you just don't give a shit about the Predator character anymore. And Adrian Brody, I mean, I had no idea what to honestly expect out of him, especially his character, but he sold me. I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed the film. It was a fun film, and as much as I would love to give it full price, I do have to give it a matinee.
And I agree with you. That's the thing. It didn't wow me. I had fun. I was like, hey, this is cool, but I was never like, oh shit, that's badass.
Yeah, you were never
Predators
like,
are back, bitches. They are back,
It
ready
is-
to attack.
it is a decent sequel to Predator, no question, but it wasn't that Aliens to Alien wow. You went, wow, I wasn't expecting something this much better.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
and they did certain things that I thought were kind of silly, but I thought like certain characters, like I thought they kind of had a good twist with. I like what they did with Topher Grace in there.
But wouldn't you want to see a next movie though? At the very least, I mean, I know this interested me enough, and I liked enough to say, you know what, I want to see what happens with the surviving characters next.
Oh yeah,
And the thing is, it leaves it open. Yeah,
And
it
please
does leave it open.
don't do what every sequel like this does and just kill the survivors in the first 15 minutes. If you're going to do that, if we invested all this time in these characters, you know what? They should probably live to the end of the next film.
Yeah,
that killed me in Aliens 3. I was why'd I sit through that second movie if y'all just kill them off right off the bat?
Oh yeah.
What would be badass is if they actually bring Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover back along with Scarface. I would watch that fucking movie, all right? And even throw in fucking Rambo for good measure.
And a couple of motorized wheelchairs to go with it.
And Jason, just so we can watch him scream through the woods.
Hey, man, those guys in wheelchairs with fucking those shoulder cannons, they steal them off the Predators. I'd be fucking down for that. That'd be badass.
It'll be like Bubba Hotep meets Predator.
No, you know what? That's what they should do.
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
How do we kill them?